Okay, let's start. Actually, no, let's start seated with the bottoms of our feet together, knees wide. Some butterfly, warming up the hips this way before we do the standing. I am going to, we're going to do some frontal poses. Um, and I'm going to go over a little bit of detail as to shifting our feet when we're in the frontal poses for our Western hips, which are not as narrow. And I'm going to hopefully you'll be able to see. I may have to move closer so that you can actually see why we shift our feet, what happens, how our hips, how we torque, twist if we don't shift our feet. And that, I mean, some people can do it. Some people have narrow hips, and that's good. I mean, that's fine. Either way is good. Now, with your knees not bouncing, lean forward a little bit, keeping your back straight, and come back up. Don't bow your head, don't round your back. Lean forward and come back up. Loosening up, stretching in the hips. And you will find if you go to other yoga classes, generally, especially if it's taught by a man, their hips are more narrow anyway, that you will be instructed to correct the stance that I use. And what I always say when they do it is, I need to do it this way for my back. And then they back off quick. Not that this is the way that I can do, because I look around and I see all these people twisting, not getting their hips lined up right and not being corrected as to a better way for them to do it. So I know that that won't work as to my reasoning. So I just say it because it does feel better in my back, for one thing. Go forward and round down, stretch. And so far, the class I've taken locally, except the one that didn't give any instruction at all, but if they do give instruction as to alignment, they will come and say, can you shift your back foot? And I'll say, no, I will. I don't say I will not. That's the fact. Now come slowly up and let's stand wide and do our wide warm up, which works really good for the hips and the leg, everything. This is just a good warm up for everything. Toes turned out away from each other, 3.5 to 4 feet apart. Wherever your wrists are underneath your ankles, more or less. Can be a little bit in. If your balance isn't good that way, inhale your arms up. Exhale, bend at the knees going out. And scoop. Inhale up. And exhale. Scoop. Key movement. You don't have to bend your knees a lot. You can do it a little bit. Still round down a lot if you want. You cannot bend at all. And still round down, but make sure you tighten your abs to lift yourself up. Your knees bent helps take some of the work off your back to lift up. If you don't bend your knees, then you need to activate your abs more. Next time you inhale up, exhale to goddess. Inhale up and exhale scoop. Exhale, exhale, next. Inhale, exhale to goddess into your side stretches right into them. Inhale, straight legs. Exhale back to goddess, moving slowly. Finish your exhale. Inhale to a version of triangle. Exhale, and if you can't reach your arm, obviously you reach it up. Inhale up. Exhale, scoop. One more time through, then we'll do some lateral poses. Open up the hips as well. Warm up the legs a little bit more. And we'll do frontal poses after I show you what I mean, because we're not going to be doing it from lunge where your feet are already adjusted. Okay, inhale, arms up. Right foot out. Left foot straight ahead. Left foot can stay turned out, or you can turn the toes in, which we've talked about before. Heel to arch alignment. Line up for this one. Not standing on two railroad tracks like we do. More like standing on one. But you can always do heel to heel alignment if that balance feels better for you. Push into the outer edge of the back foot. Try not to let your arch fall down toward the floor. Inhale, arms up, foot forward, left foot out. Exhale, warrior two. Hold it. Inhale, arms up, right foot out. Triangle. Tilt your pelvis, shift your hips. Nice straight line. Stay straight as you go sideways. Hold it. You're not real warmed up. So pay attention to how far you should go in this pose. Pull yourself up. Change sides. Pull yourself up. Lift feet forward. Swan dive to forward bend. Hold it. slowly come back up. And release. Stand comfortably. I'm going to move my mat, but I certainly have enough mats laying around. So instead, and I have dots on this one. Whoa, that's been folded forever. You probably can't see the dots, but they're handy to draw. You can measure your mat. It's about 3 feet. So 1.5 foot in is the center, which is good when you're doing lateral poses because the arch of the foot is centered, and then the heel of the foot turned out is centered, right? I guess I need to move this back a little bit. So this would be the arch of the foot, and this would be the heel, right? When you're doing a lateral frontal pose, at least if your hips are wide or tight, or you have back concerns and you need to be careful not to twist and torque your back, I have dots. This is halfway in, and this is halfway between halfway. So what is that? 3/4 of a foot in on both sides. So these are the 2 railroad tracks that come this way. And that's a little wide. I could step in a little bit, but this is a good way for you to set up so you can kind of glance down and see. So my heel is on one railroad track, and my arch maybe is on one railroad track, and my foot is on the other facing that way. That's the other thing. Okay, the main thing I want you to see is my hips. So right now I'm standing in, say, warrior 1, warrior 2, and I want to shift. So I shift my back foot because I lean forward. You can shift both. You can kind of walk the other one. But if I'm going to turn my hips without shifting, and they don't even turn the back foot, they keep the back foot pointing straight forward, and they just twist their hips. And I want you to watch. Boy, I hate doing this. Dislike doing this. How this is not this hip is still back. This hip is forward. So that foot is usually turned straight forward. So I'm trying to pull and it's pulling on my left side of my back, the leg that's back. It's pulling that all the way down into the hips, and this side's not being pulled at all. So it's an uneven pull. If you can see I can't rotate my hip forward. Whereas if I shift my foot, so I'm going to start this way. You can do heel to arch alignment edge too. I'm going to shift that back foot out and see how easily it turns my hips. My chest is facing forward. My shoulders are lined up with my hips. And notice my back toes. I turned them as well. My heel is still down. If you can't turn your foot that much, you can lift your heel up. And notice if I'm doing it this way, there is a back arch. If you have your arms out to the side, there's less of a back arch. And if you lift your heel and bend your knee a little bit, it actually flattens your back. And it takes a lot of pressure off your back. If you need that, if you feel the frontal poses, especially the warrior poses, because it arches your back a little bit. If you feel that too much in your back, first try to take your arms out to the side, because lifting your arms arches your back, especially if your shoulders are tight. Take them out to the side first, not back, just straight out to the side. And if that doesn't work, turn the back heel and lift the back heel and bend your back knee a little bit. Do what works. It's more important to not hurt your back than to look like everybody else doing the pose. Everybody else's body is different, and they may not be doing the best alignment for them, but they may not know any better. Okay, so now we're all set. We got it all figured out. So, from warrior 2 to the right, we're going to go into warrior 1. As I said, I lean a little bit to the right to take weight off the back foot so I can shift the back foot and turn it. So my rotation happens at the hip. So this hip is already turning this way when I turn my foot, because the rotation happens at the hip. The knee doesn't rotate this way. And if I need to, I can walk the right foot out a little bit to the right, but the left foot goes to the left. And you can lift your arms up. You can bend your knees. You can lift the back heel and bend the back knee. Or you can not be standing as wide. I usually bring my back foot in a little bit as well. Standing wide in warrior one is pretty deep. Hold it. Check. Look at your hips. See if they're about the same. One is not back and forward. They're about the same. And there is going to be more of a pull on this leg, and that's normal. Obviously, it's back there. It's going to be stretched more. This knee is bent, so it doesn't pull as much on the muscles. Hope this is making sense. Now let's come back to warrior two. So you shift your hips, you adjust your feet, do a little bit of scooching around, it's okay, and hold it. Generally, we don't do that when we flow because you need to make little adjustments. If you do with your flow and you get behind, that's okay. It's better to be safe with your back and your hips, as we know. Inhale, arms up. Left foot out, warrior two. And think about it. And then you're going to turn to warrior one, adjusting your feet. And that way, you're not like this, trying to pull around. You're turned. My back toes point the same direction because that rotates my hip. So my thigh is pointing in the same direction instead of out that way. Hold it. And again, it can be this. And come back to warrior two. And let's do that again. Arms up. Left foot forward. Right foot out. Warrior two. See me scooching around here. Warrior one. Warrior two. It gets easier after the first time because you know where you are in space. Arms up. Warrior two to the left. Warrior one. Or this. Warrior two. And both feet turn center. Swan dive to a forward bend. Hang in a wide forward bend. I'm going to freeze for a moment. Now lunge right. Adjust your feet. So I usually move my back foot, my left foot out a little bit to the left. Give me a wider base so I'm not all unbalanced if I have to lift up. And from here, come up to warrior one. So move your left foot maybe in a little bit closer forward, but still out to the left. Now your toes are more likely to be pointed to the right, the back toes. You can get your heel down, that's good. If not, you can lift your heel up, or you can have your foot turned out a little bit more and try to rotate more from the hip. Back down to the lunge, adjusting your feet. Turn center. People are afraid to move their feet. I don't know why. They look around and other people aren't, I guess. I don't know. Lunge left. Come up to warrior one. Back down to the lunge, adjust your feet so your knee doesn't go forward. Turn center, stretch down. Lunge right. Come up to warrior one. And that's nice because you can keep your fingers down while you adjust your back foot. It's not as easy when you're up. Straighten your right leg, interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades. You can keep your arms down, touching your butt or touching, or you can lift them up a little bit. As you do a head to knee. If it's okay with your shoulders, you can lift higher, but don't do it if you have shoulder issues. Slowly lower your arms as you come back up. Keep the interlaced fingers though. Let's do a warrior three this way. So squeeze your shoulder blades. Your palms are apart, but your fingers are interlaced. Don't lift your arms up. Keep them low. And get your balance. So slowly lean over the right leg. Straighten the right leg. As you lift the left leg up. Hold it. The right leg should be straight. Left leg should be up, parallel to the floor, or more or less. I'm using help here. You can always release. Take your arms back or out to the side for balance. Come back. Whoa. Arms up. Warrior one. Down to the lunge. Turn center. Lunge left. I'm getting warm. Those balancing poses will warm you up. Up to warrior one. Frontal pose. Hips and shoulders. Chest facing the front. Whatever you do with your arms. Interlace your hands behind you, or you can just wrap your arms around kind of behind you, bending your elbows, whatever works for your shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest. Straighten your left leg. Stretch down. Lift your arms if it works. Or you can put both hands down on the mat beside your foot. Left leg is straight. We're on a block. My palms are sliding apart. Slowly up. Let's try warrior three on this side. And come back. Arms up to warrior one. Down to the lunge. Center. Walk or jump feet to mountain distance. Forward bend. And come down to seated. Cross-legged left leg in front. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach forward and down and stretch. Slowly up, twist left. Come back to center. Left leg straight forward. Right foot touching your left inner thigh, right foot on the mat. Be out to the side and stretch down over your left leg. Slowly up. Twist to the right without shifting your leg this time. We often shift this left leg a little forward. Let's keep it where it is and twist to the right. You have a block behind you if your arms are long or your torso is longer than your arms. It can be on your knuckles or your fingertips. Blanket. The buttock stays down. Don't lift it up. Even if you might be able to go further into the twist, it's not the same thing. Come back to center. We're going to do a little more with this. Left leg is straight forward. Put your right leg on top. Try to get the outside edge of your right foot up as close to the bend, the connection between the hip and the thigh as you can. My heel is kind of in my belly. And put a support of some kind underneath your right knee, especially if it's not down on the ground, and it probably won't be. Stretch down over your left leg. Eek. Slowly up. Now stay here. Get your strap, or come out of it and get your strap. Put your strap around your right foot. It may go down to the bottom of it is by the arch. It may be up more toward the toes. And if you have really long arms and you're really flexible, you can do this without the strap. Reach your right hand around behind you and grab a hold of the strap or your toes and twist. So really, you're going to have to hold it with your left hand as you work your right hand around, getting as close to your foot as you can. Watch that right shoulder, though, and hold the twist. It looks kind of like this. Try to stay straight. And breathe. Cross-legged, right leg in front. Have your props nearby. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach forward and down and stretch. Slowly up. Right. Now that's coming up. Back to center. Right leg straight forward. Left foot touching your right inner thigh. If you can, bend it that much. If not, your knee without any pressure on the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach forward and down. Stretch over your right leg. Slowly up. Now just like this. Twist to the left. Lengthen up. Now come back to center. Put your left foot on top of your right thigh. And try to bring it up. It'll be sideways then with the toes kind of pointing that way. Try to bring it up so the side of the foot is about where your hip connects to your thigh. The heel might be pushing into your low belly. And I would always put something underneath the left knee so it's not just hanging out there. Stretch down over the right leg. You can use straps around the foot here as well. So that's a big pressure on this side. Slowly up. We're almost done with the new strange things. Unless I can think of something in the meantime. Put the strap around the left foot, top of the foot, around the arch part. Hold it with your right hand as you reach behind with your left. Get a hold of this strap, walk it as far, your left hand as far forward, as close to your foot as you can, because ultimately you want to try to hold your toes. Twist left. Hold it. Lengthen up. Try not to let yourself round. Keep your back straight. Careful with shoulders. Left shoulder in this case. Try to not tilt your straight leg. Keep the toes up. And twist, which is always a pleasure. Sit wide. Actually, no. Let's recline with our straps. Do recline pigeon first, and you'll be surprised, perhaps, how open your hips are. Cross your right ankle on your left thigh. Lift your left leg up and hold it. Keep your shoulders relaxed. had a friend who did it was a Kundalini yoga meditation. She did it every day for 1,000 days. It's one of the most challenging, not challenging in the way of the other one that I spoke of, but challenging in the way of commitment and physical. It was a physical challenge. The other one's a different kind of challenge. But it's sitting in full lotus with your arms wrapped around, holding your toes, and then forward bending, and then doing some kind of a sing-along. So it was incredible. And of course, in the beginning, like most of us, even though she was pretty flexible, there's no way that she could get even close to her toes. But she still tried. She used straps. She did what she could, still did the forward bend, still did it for however long. Release, probably starting out at 11 minutes and then gradually increasing it. I think she ultimately was doing it for an hour, probably. Her left ankle crossed, lift your right leg up. But she had things she wanted to work through mentally more than anything, and emotionally. And that was what that was for primarily. And she is today. I can't imagine. And eventually she could hold her toes and everything. Just a little bit longer. And release. Start with both knees bent. Put the strap around the ball with the right foot. Stretch it straight up. I will remember this time how much we've done. I got confused on Tuesday. Actually, I had to listen to the tape, and I edited it a tiny bit because I couldn't remember where we were. But I'll remember this time. Right leg is straight up. If you need to, keep your left knee bent for your back. You can straighten it out part way, sliding it along the mat, or you can straighten it all the way, letting it rest on the mat if you want. Keep your right leg up in the air. As we talked about when we went over some of the details with Warrior One and frontal poses, you need to do what is right for your back. And again, you may, if you're in another class and you're stretching your right leg straight up, they may instruct you to straighten your left leg out all the way on the mat. They may instruct you to tighten that muscle and push your left leg down muscularly. So if it's like this, they want you to flex this foot, push it down toward the mat and all that stuff. If that doesn't feel right on your back, don't do it. Bend your left knee a little bit, lift it up. And if they come around and say, slowly release a little bit and take your right leg out to the right. If they come around and say, push your leg down, say, that hurts my back. Anytime you do something that you're modifying and they don't know the modification most of the time, it's the reason. They only know one way of doing everything. You just say that I can't do that with my back, and they will not force the issue. They won't force the issue anyway, but they'll walk away without trying to help you do what they have in mind you should do. I took a class at the yoga conference, a style of yoga I'd never heard of before. And the teacher, I think he was a student of the teacher that developed this style. He was there leading the class, and he had one of his students walking around instructing it 2 or 3 times. They tried to get me to do things. I just won't do them. Slowly bring your leg up and across. Shift your hips to the right. Take your leg across, or at least I won't do them that way. You don't work this hard to be free of pain, just to do some things that you know may cause pain. They eventually, after twice, she'd just look at me and get this look on her face and just let me do whatever I was doing. But I noticed all the other students in bad form, bad alignment. If they had any issues with back, they were going to be hurting after that class. They all tried to do it, so they all looked exactly the same. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves, obviously. Okay, bring your right leg straight back up, lower it down, left leg up in the air with the strap, right knee can be bent, foot on the mat, or you can just straighten it out part way and keep it a little bit bent for your back. Move into that, straightening that right leg onto the mat a little bit at a time. If you're flexible with your hamstrings and your hips are okay, you can have your right leg all the way on the mat, relaxed, not forcing anything. Your shoulders relaxed. Use your arm muscle to pull that left leg into the stretch. Try to keep the left leg relaxed-ish, but still straight-ish without locking your knee. I think I was very lucky that my first real teacher locally was a Vinny Yoga teacher. He was from Little Rock, and Joy Fox in Waterhollow used to have him come up and do workshops. And it was very good. Vinny Yoga being yoga therapy, they had all kinds of different ways of doing poses and talking about and explaining how this is for that and this is not good to do with that. Slowly, left leg out to the left. Don't let your right buttock lift. Hold the stretch. And also Judith Lassiter, a local Iyengar teacher, had her come 2 or 3 times. And she was an Iyengar teacher and a student of Iyengar, and she kind of went off on her own in her own style. She had a lot of training. She was a physical therapist, just a lot of body training. So her classes that I took, one was for the low back, one was for the SI joints. And she was really good at explaining how to use props in different ways and what to do and not to do. Yeah, those were 2 really good instructors that I had that came locally. I learned a lot from them, and then just my own study and other workshops that I would go to. Bring your leg up and take it across the body. Shift your hips to the left. Stretching the outer side, the outer hip, the left side of the back somewhat. Hold the twist and the stretch. And slowly leg back up. Lower your leg down. If you want to, you can hug your knees a little bit. Rock side to side. We have about a minute, or not, before core starts. Come to standing if you're staying for core. If not, why don't you just take a few minutes and relax. Turn the sound off. Line your mat. Shavasana, Shavasana. We're going to do so. Stand wide. Toes turned out. Hold the strap in front of your body with your arms straight out. Hold it between your thumb and your index finger. And it should just maybe touch your sternum, just below your neck. Your arms are straight out. And then have it not touch your sternum. So it's a little bit forward. And you want to see if you can do these things without ever letting the strap touch your sternum. I mean, it's just there, it's just in front. The only reason it's not touching is it's facing up. I mean, it may occasionally touch a little bit, but you don't want your arms to go back to where you feel. Do that a few times. Move your arms back and feel the pressure of the strap on your sternum, just below, on your collarbones, just below your neck. You don't want to feel that. Even that is not very much. If you start to feel that, so if it lightly touches, occasionally lightly touches, that's okay. We don't want it to go back. Bend forward. Just hold it. Lightly touching your sternum in this case. Back is flat. Notice this is a lot harder. Notice how your arms want to go up in the air and pull on that strap. Tighten your abs. Try to get your spine parallel to the floor, but if you're not that flexible, that's okay. You can always bend your knees a little bit, as long as you don't let them tilt inward. And come slowly back up. Did you feel that? I did. Now take 2 blocks, I think, because this is more about the twist than the forward bend. And if you just joined us, you may not be that warmed up. So have, or at least that one of those white blocks, or a block on top of a blanket, or something that's stacked. Is that about a foot? Maybe not quite a foot high, but it's pretty high. Again, straps, arms straight, straps out. We're going to come to a halfway forward bend like we did. And then we're going to lower our right hand knuckles or whatever to the block as the left arm goes up without putting a lot of pressure on the front of your body. So come down, and I'm going to do my, I don't know which one I want to do, either one really. You're going to lower your right arm, bring your left arm up. You're going to lose a little bit because you might not be able to lift the arm up straight, depending on your shoulder. Then come back, left arm down, right arm up. And the strap should be straight. At this point, it isn't touching. If I rotate my whole torso back, it might touch, but you might not touch, and that's okay. You don't want to force that top shoulder back. Come back to parallel, right arm down, left arm up. And as you loosen up, it may gently touch just a little bit. And come back to parallel. Again, it's not touching at all at this point. Obviously, my arms are coming down. I'm tired. Change sides. And back. Change sides. And back. Change sides. And back. I know this is weird, huh? Change sides. And back. One more time. Change sides. And back. And hang down. Let your neck hang. Let your head hang. Let your neck stretch. Hold it. And come down on your back. Yeah, that was for the more the mid back and the upper back. You can't just strengthen the abs and the low back, as we talked about before. We need to strengthen the whole back. Knees bent. Fingers behind your head. You're going to bring your right knee in. And you're going to straighten it out as you come all the way back. You're going to bring your right knee in, your left elbow to your knee. And you're going to straighten it out just above the back. Bring it back in and lower it down. So right knee in, left elbow to right knee. Let your head and your arm go all the way back as your right leg goes out just above the mat. Bring it slowly back in, elbow to knee. And then knee bent, foot on the mat. Left knee in, right elbow to knee. Head goes all the way back to the mat as the leg slowly goes out just above the mat. Bring the left knee back in, and then foot to mat as you go back with your head and your arm. Keep doing that, alternating sides. Moving slowly, go all the way back down with your head and your arm as your leg goes out. You have to go through the whole motion. So you're working all the muscles. You don't stay lifted with your head. You do the whole up and down motion. Keep moving. I'm going to time you. Otherwise, of course, I would just love to be doing it with you. I'm putting this one, the whole series, and I know there may only be one class that you might want to watch out of the series, but you know about how long each one is, so you can fast forward through. If you want to review the frontal pose information and stuff like that, let me know, and I'll send you a link to the YouTube version for $5. That's how I make my money, but then you get to watch it forever, as many times as you want, which can become boring. Okay, after you finish right elbow to left knee and the whole sequence there, hug your knees in and rock a little bit, side to side, massage your back. Now we're going to be doing a few things with this. This is upper abs and lower abs. It's really going to work them. So rest when you need to. Hug your knees in. And as your legs go out, you're going to raise your arms to the floor overhead, or you can take them out to the side. Your legs go out, they stay together. Yeah, let's take our legs out to the side. That's just easier. And you're about 45-degree angle if you can keep your back down. If you can't, lift it up a little bit higher, or don't straighten your legs all the way. But it's important to keep your low back pushed to the mat and knees back in. With the breath, it's an inhale when legs go out, back push down. Feel your back on the mat. Exhale when they come back in. Again, don't straighten them all the way. If you find your back comes up when you straighten them out too much, that's important to keep the back down. You don't want to strain the back while you're strengthening the abs. And at any time, if this is the sequence, there's going to be more to this. At any time, you can start. Your abs are going to get tired, and you may not be able to push your back down. You can start doing it with your knees slightly bent, or don't take them out as low. Lift them up a little bit higher. 2 more. Last one. Now you're going to bring your head to your knees as you hug your knees in. So arms out, knees come in, bring your head up to your knees and really crunch. And then legs out, arms out, head down. Knees in, head up, hug, crunch. 3. And crunch. 4. 5. Back push down when your legs are out. 6. 7. 8, 9, 10. Now one leg's going to come up and one leg's going to get down to the mat. The leg that comes up, you're going to hold it, lift your, no, let's not do that first. Let's have just keep our head down. Yeah, we'll do it that way. So the left leg's going to come up to the ceiling as the right leg goes out. And in this case, because we're not lifting our head, so it's going to be harder to keep our back flat, put your hands under your buttocks. Both knees are in. Straighten your right leg out parallel to the mat. Lift your left leg up into the air. And then bring them both back and pull them in just using your muscles. Chest, knees to chest. And left leg out, right leg up. And if you can't lift your right leg straight up, if it goes out at an angle, because if it goes out like this, because your hamstrings are tight, pay attention to your back. If that starts to bother your back, and when you lift the right leg up, don't straighten it all the way. Keep it slightly bent like this. That way you'll be able to lift it straight up, because your hamstrings will be pulling it toward the other leg. So it's kind of okay if the leg goes not straight up, but that will challenge your back more. So just be aware of it. A few more times. One more time with the right leg going straight above the mat. One more time. The left leg going straight above the mat, the other one up in the air. Let's take a pause for a moment, hug both knees in. Yeah, there's one more to come. Okay, knees in, arms out to the side. If you need to, you can always put a blanket, like your palms, underneath your buttocks, not your low back. Put your buttocks. The left leg is going to come up. You're going to lift your head to your knee, and you're going to hold your left leg, give it a gentle stretch, being very careful. The right leg is going to go out parallel to the mat. So right leg out, lift your head, lift your left leg up, give it a little stretch, and then knees in, come all the way back down, arms out to the side. Left leg out parallel to the mat, right leg up, give it a little stretch, head up, and back in. I'll do it with you one more time. Right leg out, left leg up, a little stretch, head lifted. Try not to lift your shoulders up toward your neck or your ears. Right leg up, left leg out, parallel to the mat. And back in, knees together. And keep going. This works the upper and lower abs. And yes, your abs should be getting pretty tired about now. Just a little bit easier on the neck than the one we used to do for holding the legs and keeping the head lifted the whole time. Try to tuck your chin when you lift your head. Move slowly. Tighten your abs. Let your abs lift you up, not your neck. Finish your second side, which is, I think, left leg parallel to the mat, right leg up in the air. And then hug both knees in and rock. Stretch your back, massage your back. Legs up in the air. Legs together, not crossing. Arms by your side. Lift your low back off the mat. Feet to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take your time. 5. Don't lift up high. No pressure on your neck. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right knee bent. Right heel low. Left leg still up. 1. Keep your right heel low. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lift tail down, right leg up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hug knees in, rock side to side. Massage your back. This may seem like it's for the abs, but it's really for the back. Legs straight, arms out to the side. You're going to stay on just one side, one leg, right leg up. This is the starting and stopping position. Don't lower your leg back to the mat. Take it across. Again, if it ends up going down this way, bend your knee. Take your thigh straight across at least. And slowly back up. Please don't do it if your leg goes down this way. That's not only not good for your back, but it can strain it when you don't work the back as much. Take it out to the side or bend your knee and take it out to the side. Let your foot touch. Come all the way back till your back is flat. This is 4. At least that's the way I'm counting it. 5. Move slowly. It's okay if your right shoulder lifts. Don't try to force it down. 6. Can even be laying with blankets under your arms. 7. 8. 9. Keep your abs active. That's 1. 10. And lower that leg down. Left leg up. And again, take it across so the thigh is straight across, whether with the knee bent or straight. 1. 2. Don't take it out to the side, just straight up when it comes up. It doesn't come out to the side. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Hug, rock, massage your back. Hands and knees, patting under your wrists, patting under your knees if you need. Under hips, wrists under shoulders, do some cat-cow because it feels so good. Last one. We're going to alternate sides. Bring your right knee to your left arm. Touch the elbow. Straighten it out parallel, not up into the air, please. Bring the right knee forward, slide it along the outside of the right arm. Take it back to parallel. Then lower down. Left knee to right. Take it back to parallel slowly. Don't swing it back and lift it up real high. Slide it forward along the outside of your left arm. Take it back parallel and lower down. Keep moving, keep alternating, keep it slow. This one's nice. Works the abs and the back, the glutes, which are important to supporting your SI joint area and your low back. Just a little bit more. And finish up. Sit back on your heels. Your legs, knees apart a little bit, toes, big toes touching. Stretch your back. Child's pose. Back up to hands and knees. Again, this is alternating. This time you're going to include the upper abs by taking your head down towards your knee. And you're going to do a little bit more for the back. When you have your legs straight back and lifted, you're going to bring the heel into your butt without dropping your knee down. That's hard to do because it pulls on the quadricep, and that could be tight, which is why you have a tendency to want to drop the knee down because your quadricep is tight. So you don't have to bring the heel all the way to the butt, but try to keep your thigh up parallel to the mat. So you bend your knee and bring it back and then lower down. I'll do a couple with you first, and then I'll just time you. So right knee in, head to knee. Straighten it out just parallel. Keep it lifted as you pull the heel in toward your buttocks. Straighten it out parallel and lower down. Left knee, head to knee. Straighten it out parallel. Bend the knee without letting the knee drop down. Straighten it back out. And then knee to mat. Right knee in, head to knee. Move slowly. Right leg out parallel. Knee to buttock. Head, whatever that's called. Heel to buttock. Straighten it out. Lower down. Left knee in. Straighten it out. Bend it. Straighten it out. Lower down. Changing sides, moving slowly. Try not to bend your elbows, but if it gets to be hard on the wrist, lower to your forearms. You won't be able to bring the belly in, the knee in very far. It's better if you can possibly put padding under your wrist so you can still be working the abs, but you do what works for you. You can make it all back. Just straightening the leg out, and then bring the hip to the butt, straighten it up, and lower the knee down. If you're on your forearms, you can't bring your knee in toward your chest. My microphone's not going to be here till the 13th, so that's okay. That'll give me us, it'll probably help a weekend to make sure the setup is going to work. The nice thing about Amazon is if it doesn't, they'll take everything back. Finish up with your left leg, and then sit back on your heels in child's pose. Stretch your back. And come over onto your back and hug your knees in. Rock a little bit side to side. Massage your back a little bit better this way. I'm not going to do another one. Gentle is almost here. Okay, come up.